So what is a fiat gateway, right? So fiat gateway is something you use when you need to turn your, whatever your currency is, dollars, or just say that, you need to turn your dollars into Bitcoin. And what you do is you take your dollars and you send it to a bank, right? Try to do the classic bank. Oh gosh. Okay. This is my bank. I'm trying to do those big pillars that they do for always representing banks. Looks more like a hut. So a bank hut, okay? So you send your dollars to through the bank, and so then usually you have a company, right? And they've set up some servers through the, and they're providing a service to be able to connect to blockchains and send Bitcoin, right? Just as one example. Bitcoin is one example. Ethereum is another. Could be Ethereum, right? So Bitcoin or Ethereum. What happens is fiat through the bank, through a banking system, gets sent to a company that then will take their Bitcoin and, I guess in this diagram, send it to you, happy Bitcoin holder. Now you got your B. Yeah, right? Bitcoin or Ethereum. I'm gonna try to draw the Ethereum logo. Yeah, okay. So my chicken scratch. Okay. All right. So that's the situation with fiat gateways today, right? That's basically what happens every time. You're sending your money through the banking system, a company gets it, and then the company is selling you the Bitcoin back. And it's roughly, and it could be varying levels of automation. Uh, Pretty much all the time, this is gonna have KYC, right? So the company is gonna determine, is going to need all your information because they are going to give it to the banks and maybe some third parties, right? Because, hey, it's information. It's good to sell. Yeah. Got a guy here who has some money. They want to know about that, some guy that has money. So, of course, they're going to sell the information. So, although they say they don't. Anyways, so that's fiat today. This is the way it is now. Now, unfortunately, the problem with this, like it's easy to see there's a problem. It's super complicated. It's really difficult to get into crypto because you're going through this process. You're always having to do KYC. And of course, the process for the KYC with the companies usually means you're sending them like your driver's license or your passport or all kinds of information, which, as I said, ends up in third-party hands. So it's not good. What I talked about before regarding digital IDs and things like that, this is going to get 100 times worse. And by 100 times worse, I mean that you're going to end up with a situation where these companies are going to have no control over the rules. It's all going to be made by the government, right? Whatever government you're beholden to in the country you live in are going to set these rules that are going to make it so that if that government isn't doing so well with your currency, then they're going to make sure that this process gets cut off. Be like, okay, we can't have any more of our people going into cryptocurrency, so we're just going to stop that, right? And because of digital IDs and CBDCs, it'll be very easy. So this will be an unfortunate thing for cryptocurrencies. This is a problem for fiat gateways because um, fiat gateway providers are about to like be in a world of hurt for all kinds of regulations. So what are you going to do? What does this mean for crypto in general? Because it sounds like the ability for people to get a hold of cryptocurrencies is going to get much more difficult. Two systems will emerge, and one of them is going to be for freedom, and the other one is going to be for order. And this freedom system needs a way so that people can transact with each other. There needs to be a way that we can close the loop. The term closed loop means that if you got cryptocurrency and someone else accepts the cryptocurrency and they're able to use it for something else, then that's a closed loop system. It's not needing to take the cryptocurrency, turning it into, dollars, and then taking those dollars and then using it somewhere else. Like that's not closed loop. That's where you need to convert and you need to use that fiat gateway. So what do? You need to have it so that it's a closed loop. So how does that happen? We've been exploring possibilities where we really focus on what does peer-to-peer really mean? And how can we incorporate how people interact with each other? Human. And how can we make it so that when people are interacting in a peer-to-peer fashion, the banks can do their own thing. They can make whatever rules they like. And whatever the political situation is, they can't just take people's money, and make it so that this is the closed loop and they can do whatever they want over here, right? So that we're not crossing between these systems, right? The system I'm talking about in terms of like fiat and everything else, that's going to continue. There's just no fighting it. There's not much we can do about it. But if there's an alternative where we can easily be able to transact with one another and have a way so that when you go to transact, all these barriers for crypto don't exist, where it's really peer-to-peer, right? Where we are able to simply be able to use our own personal devices, where let's say I have my crypto in my phone and you have your phone. We should be able to use that together in order for me to be able to transfer my value to you, whatever that value might be. It could be Bitcoin, it could be Ethereum, it could be Peerplays. So basically, we'd be able to transact with one another. This is almost like the last mile issue where this problem is that every time people use crypto, they're always instead going into this system first and then getting stuck with all the rules there. And if they want to go back here, it's like, nope, we're not going to let you. Or they go there, they don't like that you're coming into here, and then they go, nope, they'll let you have your bank either. so then people are stuck. The future of fiat, how Peerplays will solve this. We are focusing on the peer-to-peer element of how people are engaging with each other, making it so that it'll be a real peer-to-peer transaction versus a situation where you're always going into a fiat gateway. I mean, it sounds simple enough, and you think, why don't people do this? But what we want to do is basically have it so that when you're using Peerplays with your phone, right, and you're engaging with other people in person, or you want to be able to send money to somebody, or in this case, crypto to somebody, it should be a process that doesn't require them to sign up for anything. Okay, it'll effectively be like almost sending them an invite to simply install the app with the transaction incorporated into it. So when the person comes on board, they can then be able to fulfill the transaction. They can be able to confirm the transaction, and then they'll be able to go on about the other things in incorporating the details of who they are, so that they can go on and be able to transact with others, rather than having these guys tell them what they can and can't do. So I'm not going into a lot of details about it just because it's very early stage. And we know though that this will be a very important element towards creating the opportunity for people to be able to connect and be able to use crypto, because the problem right now is that by design, everybody in crypto wants those fiat gateways. Like they almost insist on it as though it's something that is like a necessity. But as long as you keep on tethering to that system doesn't want crypto. It's almost like getting into an abusive relationship. Why would you get into an abusive relationship with someone who hates you? Okay, they literally don't want you to live, and we are connected to them. And so all they got to do is just like put the axe down and boom, everything goes down. And why, for some reason, the industry, because of all the VC capital that goes into it and everything, creates these systems to continue to do that and continues to connect to it. And it just creates a greater surface area risk insecurity. And that's what's happened to the industry as a whole. With Peerplays, we're taking a different approach. Rather than over complicating this situation, we are going to focus, rather than creating those bridges into the financial system, we are going to create bridges between people so that they can close the loop and they could actually start utilizing cryptocurrencies in ways that everybody talks about. But the problem is that nobody has been able to effectively make it so that there's a way for people to connect and be able to want to transact with one another in that way, which is strange.